Hello, good morning. Another sunny day, thankfully, because I'm wearing my shorts. Right, so I'll go straight into it because I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. It's been a while since I've done a video, but I've been up to my neck, been very busy. So I haven't really had time to do anything apart from just get my head down. And so now I'm on my way to kill many birds with one stone. Shopping, going to the bank, and whatever else I normally do on my 2-mile round trip, which includes getting my exercise. Right, so I'm just gonna go straight into this morning. So here we are again with the motorists. I keep saying, you know, football players, it doesn't matter what the weather's like, they wear shorts. Why are people looking at me because I'm wearing shorts? I'm exercising. Alright, so basically I'm going straight in. So this morning, and when I say this morning, I'm talking about the early hours of the morning before I went to sleep. I was lying there thinking, how the heck am I going to do all this? I literally felt like the miller's daughter from the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin. Knowing what my workload for the next few days entails, there's more work than there are man hours. And even if it be the case that I wasn't at my sister's place with added responsibilities, I would still struggle to meet my targets. So great are they. But anyways, a little enchanted man didn't show up in the middle of the night and do the work for me, nor did I leave the flat with him sitting at the sewing machine spinning and twirling. What did happen was one of my customers, I prefer to call them customers because client seems a bit pretentious. You know, for somebody like me, it's a bit pretentious saying client. I like to call them customers. So one of my customers, who was due to come this morning between 7:30 and 8, it didn't actually arrive until, I would say, after 8:30. And I was thinking I could have continued sleeping once the carer left. You know, because sleep is something I don't have much time for. But nevertheless, I was expecting, he was coming to collect as well as deliver fabric. But it didn't work out in the way I had anticipated. He didn't bring the fabric because he didn't have time to cut it. So he only brought the linings, which means it gives me a stay of execution. So the other stuff that I need to get done within the same deadline, I can actually get on with that. And it will take a day or two before he delivers the fabric to me. So his work will get pushed back into next week now, which means I have the weekend to do, well, on those 2 days, I should be able to make good ground on the other things that I've got to do. I mean, I've got a lot, I'm not going to go into it. But it's just to say, you know, things work out. When there is no way, there is a way. So, you know, for him, he didn't have time to cut the fabric, so that thing there saved me a hell of a lot of, I wouldn't say stress because I don't get stressed, but it's given me more time to play with. So now it's just coming up to 10 o'clock, and I said I'm going, among the other things that I'm doing this morning, I'm going to the bank. Last time I went on a Wednesday, I got there just maybe fewer than 10 minutes before 10, and I didn't realize, I thought the bank opened at 9. I didn't realize that on Wednesdays it opens at 10, but fortunately I didn't get there for opening time, because I would have had to loiter or go back and come back again later. So this morning my intention was, as soon as he dropped off the fabric, I was going to make my way, because I'm walking obviously, make my way to the bank to get there for opening time. And when I finished dealing with him and I brought the lining back up and had grabbed my bags, because I got myself ready so I could just go out the door, as soon as I went to pick up my tablet, which I'm using now, which I take with me when I'm on the road just in case I'm going to record. As soon as I went to pick it up, God reminded me that today's Wednesday and the bank doesn't open until 10. So instead what I did was, because normally when I go shopping in the morning I leave my sister in bed, and then when I get back I give her breakfast and continue with my day. So what I did was I got her up and gave her a breakfast during that time and did some work. I made a couple of linings for my blinds on the sewing machine, and then I left at the time that I said I would leave. So now, this is me, might be a bit boring, but this is me telling you how I'm using time. I don't have much of it, but this is how I'm using it anyway. So I won't need to go back, because it's a different kind of energy. I won't now need to go back and give her, get her out to go through that routine of getting her out of bed, giving her breakfast, and then starting work. As soon as I get back, I can unpack the bag and start working. So I've left her watching a video. Not so much watching, because it's more listening. So I've left her with a YouTube video, and hopefully that will keep her occupied until I get back. It's over an hour long, so that should work. But as said, that's how God takes care of things. I know there are people who don't believe in God, but I have a long history, and I don't. I'm the kind of a person that apply mind over matter. So if I've got a task to do and I've committed to doing it, if it means not sleeping, I will get it done. That's how it works. The other thing, because I've been so busy, we're at the moment living on chips, and people would think shock horror. So what I did last night, because I know there are people who go on my Facebook page to find out information, and they will pretend to care. And I say pretend because it's, if you're not actually willing to do something about your concern, then you're just pretending. It's just lip service, really. So I took the opportunity to post that for Sunday dinner we had sausages and chips, and for dinner, lunch and dinner, yesterday we had chicken wings and chips. Because what I did was I literally just ran out to the nearest Morley's, which is less than 5 minutes walking distance, and grabbed a load of chicken wings and some chips and presented it to my sister and carried on sewing, because such are my deadlines. And as I've said, people would be horrified, like, how can you be giving her chips? That's not nutritious and all of that. And that's the whole point. None of them are offering to bring food. We've been there a while now, apart from my mother, and because she's sort of not in a position, she's getting daily treatment at the hospital, and that's kind of wiping her out. So she whereas she was sending food, and that was a godsend, literally. She's not able to do that. But I've said to my sister that, again, we're coming back to God, that she's sort of glorifying herself, like patting herself on the back. And I say so often that we're not supposed to take God's glory. So I'm looking after my sister, but I don't need anybody to tell me how fantastic I am for doing that. I don't need praise or anything. It's something that needs to be done, and somebody's got to do it, and that somebody just happens to be me. It's whoever's willing, I guess. So she while I was sewing, I was just going into it and telling her why certain things are the way they are. Good morning. Just saying to her the reason why I put things on Facebook is because there are people who come looking for information, and I give them an opportunity to judge themselves, because by judging me, they would be looking at it. I know these people very well, and their mentality, they're very much caught up in food, and they would judge the situation like, oh, I would never give her chips. Yeah, but you're not doing anything for her. And just sort of going back to March of last year, when people were going crazy and clearing out the shops, I posted on Facebook, and I resurrected that post last night. That was the 3rd of March I posted. And I said, until this madness ends, with no food in the supermarkets, I said I will live on chips. And that's exactly what I did. So it's not as though I am eating fine, fancy, gourmet food, and I'm just giving my sister chips. In fact, she's eating better than me, right? Because I sometimes don't have time to stop and eat when I'm busy. But if she's having chips, then chips is what I also would have. It's not like I said, I'm treating her one way, and for myself, I'm taking all the good stuff. It doesn't work like that. So the thing is, like with God, God is, He's not a respecter of person. We're all equal in His sight, and I'm not going to go into it at this point, but at some point I will, as to why I do Facebook. I will come back. I've been on Facebook since 2007, and I'll come back to that some other time. But people will see that I haven't changed. If they put aside the bias, they will see that I'm consistent. Even if you go through the book, you will see that I'm consistent. I don't start out as one thing and then end up as another, or I don't bounce between personas. So, for example, there are some churchgoers that I know who, when my sister was first ill last year, and I stayed with her for 6 weeks, after I went home, she decided to go back to work, but she didn't tell me. Now, had she mentioned to me that she was planning to go back to work, I would have told her no. So, in conversation, people I spoke to, people we know mutually, I said she's going back to work, but I don't think it's a good idea. And to a man, all of them said, oh no, I think she should go. I think it will be good for her. And to a man, now, she lasted less than 3 days. On the 3rd day, she had to go home early because she took ill. And to a man, all those people who thought it was a good idea that she should go back to work because it will do her good, they're all silent. And guess who's picking up the slack? The one person who would have advised her not to go is the one picking up the slack. So my point in posting that she's eating, that we've been eating sausages and chips and chicken wings and chips, is to give them the opportunity to judge me. And people would say, well, why would you do that? It's because it's good for them, so they can see their hypocrisy. They're not actually helping. They've not done anything at all for my sister. And I keep saying to people that I don't need help. I keep getting people contacting me, but it's the way that my mother's telling them stuff. So it's like, medical professional type people. How can we help you? What are you struggling with? I'm not struggling with anything, because first of all, they can't sew, so they can't come and help me to do that. And they can't make time stop, or they can't make time slow down. So those are the two things: my work and time. Not enough time to do everything. So this is the reason why we're eating chips. Because actually, no, I was actually going to go shopping. I don't remember which night. I think it was Saturday, potentially. But it rained right through from like 5 o'clock. And it was raining really heavily. And it didn't let up until all the shops were closed after midnight. It was still raining. So that's why we ended up having sausages and chips. Sorry, whatever. Chips, it's been all chips anyway. So that's why we because I didn't get that window I didn't get to go and do shopping. But it's just very interesting. Like I said, you can not that I'm being wicked or anything in setting people up in that way, but it's one way of fast tracking so people can actually see themselves, how easy it is to criticize, but at the same time, you're not going to do anything about it. Because at this late stage, even if people who, go to read just to see what's going on in the news in our world, even at this point, if they were to read and say, oh my gosh, they're eating chips, let me make something and give it to them, they wouldn't do it because they'd be embarrassed, because they've left it so late to think of how they might be able to offer help. Because you see, the thing is that, and I talk often about inspiration. If you especially religious people, if you're connected spiritually, God will inspire you and tell you what to do. He will tell you what the needs of that person is or are. But like I said in one of my series of posts, as regards people who go to church and are familiar with the principles of fasting and praying, I've been saying this for a very long time, for many years. I've said maybe the reason why God requires people to fast and to pay tithing is because people love food and people love money. And if they can separate themselves or manage to sort of put their hands in their pocket and give God his 1/10, or to deny themselves food for 24 hours, then, that shows some form of discipline. It shows something. But in every situation, the people I'm speaking to, their concern for me is that I should give up the flat because I'm not living there and I can save money and move in with my sister. So what I did, I was speaking to one person last night and he suggested the same, that I should move in with my sister. So in response, I took 2 pictures of my living and working space, which are one and the same. So I basically work where I sleep and I sleep where I work. And I took 2 pictures just to give him an idea. Because obviously, for me to move in, I'd need to transport all my stuff and, take to her place. There's no way, even with the few items that I've got, for me to put them let alone for me to transport all my clothes, all my shoes, all my workroom equipment, everything. You see, so people, it's almost like common sense. The more you sort of are connected to money and, just material things, and you got like a greedy mentality where you want to possess as much for yourself. And as I've said, the concern for me is that I should be saving money. You don't sort of think beyond that. I remember when I was looking for a gym, someone was telling me about some gym somewhere where I would need to get public transport. I was only wanting to use a gym so I could use a treadmill for walking. That's all, but I was willing to pay. And this person was saying, "Oh, this gym, and it only costs so much." So I asked him, "And how much is it going to cost me to travel to get there?" And he just went quiet, because they don't. It's this thing where we have a saying, "Pennywise and pound foolish." Where in trying to save money, people actually end up losing money. It probably costs me more in travel than it would in gym membership. So it's just that, really. It's just, I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm just like giving updates, but that's where we are anyway. So I guess I'm trying to get people to judge themselves. And people think that it's a negative thing. It's not, because in the end it's helping them. It's if you can help people to recognize their hypocrisy and their situation, you're doing them a favor. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Anyways, have a beautiful day, and look after yourselves. Bye bye.